Although South Africa's Social Security Agency paid out billions of rand in COVID-19 relief grants, millions still haven't been paid. Sassa is notorious for its failures and corruption, and it seems nothing has changed, or very little, I should say. The 350 rand monthly grant will end this month. Our reporters are covering the story for us. Aviwe Mtila and Letiwe Mdluli speaking to some recipients throughout the day. We'll start with you, Letiwe. Of course, you've been speaking to those beneficiaries at various post offices in the city. What are they saying?
Well, Shahan, majority of them are saying that they are pleading with the government to continue paying out the social grants because it's been very helpful in feeding their families and also just making ends meet. I've been speaking to beneficiaries across Durban and also in Pinetown, and most of them were there since 6 a.m. in the morning trying to get services. Here at the Greyville post office, frustrations have actually ran high. The post office just closed, and those who were not able to receive some help today did say that they are very frustrated because they've been here from very early on in the morning. But right now I'm joined by a gentleman who's been assisted just now, and he's been here since 6:15 in the morning. Mr. Brackenposh, welcome. So I know that you've just been assisted, and you were saying that you've been here since the early hours of the morning. Can you please just take me through that process?
Ma'am, I was here on Monday morning. And I waited till about 10 o'clock when they asked me to come on Wednesday morning. And I came this morning. And I was here from 6:15. And I just got assisted now. And they finished off with me now. And I really appreciate that the government gave us this money. It's really going to help us for whatever we need for ourselves. Thank you.
So I just want to know, how has this money made a difference in your life? Has it made a difference at all?
Yes, it did make a difference in my life because I'm unemployed at this present moment. And that's really a big assistance to me. I really appreciate it.
And also next month, you might not get the grants because government has actually not said if it's extending giving out these grants to beneficiaries. What would you say to the government?
I would ask the government to please assist us. Please assist us in this matter.
Thank you so much. So, Shahan, some of the grant beneficiaries here are pleading with the government to basically continue on giving out these grants because it is very helpful to them and their families.
All right. Are we ready to bring Aviwe in? Aviwe, let's bring you in then. So hundreds of people, of course, in queues for the past couple of months. We've seen so many people confused about how the payment system works. What did you find out?
So a myriad of issues, Shahan, that have been raised on the ground in Pretoria, outside the post office there, in that queue that was snaking from the time that they get there. As much as they appreciate the 350 rand, they're saying that there's a lot of effort that has to go into receiving it. They had to be there. One of the gentlemen that I spoke to telling me that he was there as early as 3 a.m. and there was a lot of people already by the time that he got there. They spoke about the amount in itself, 350. They say that as much as they appreciate it, it doesn't really go a long way. It ends some 2 weeks in, not enough groceries to sustain the month. In fact, they're pleading with government, saying that they want an extension of the grant itself. In fact, they want it to be permanent, Shahan, for those that are unemployed to receive it, aged from 18-year-olds to 59-year-olds, to receive it on a monthly basis. Let's listen in to some of the conversations that I had this morning.
Government, if it can maybe extend this 350 to be a permanent income for the poor people, and secondly, maybe to reduce this queues, people spending more than 8 hours. They must also do like the old ages where they get it, their grant to the Pick and Pay and ShopRite, because our people, they spend more than 8 hours on the queue for. And some of them, our people, they are having a chronic sick. That can maybe help us.
So, Aviwe, you know, many people are asking whether it's actually sustainable for government to continue with this grant.
Well, the indications are there, Shahan. You'd look at the fact that the government couldn't pay around 6 million beneficiaries in March, saying that it's working around the clock to pay those beneficiaries. In fact, one of the complaints that we heard from the ground was that the grant didn't come on a monthly basis. Some of them got paid for the first couple of months and haven't received the other months, the 350 rand. That will talk a lot in terms of what government can afford, but pay the grants, an NGO, in fact, that comes from COVID-19, that an organization that speaks on behalf of the people, the grant recipients, will tell you that government can afford this. In fact, it's not an issue of government competence when it comes to there, because the money, they say, is there. It's an issue of government and the corruption and the competency and the political will, in fact. Let's listen in on the conversation I had with Nathan Taylor from Pay the Grants.
So to extend the COVID SRD grant at the current levels of applicants at a 350 rand a month would cost 29 billion for 12 months. To extend it to the food poverty line would cost 48 billion. To include the lower range of caregivers into that grant at that level would cost 62 billion. These are huge figures. But then when we look at them relatively, when we talk about illicit cash flows, when we talk about government corruption, inefficiencies, when we talk about undeclared income and the possibility of taxes on the net wealth of high-income individuals, we do not actually have a situation of a crisis of public funding. We have a situation of a crisis of political will. It's not about whether we can afford to sustain this grant. It's about whether can we afford not to.